I want to talk about my involvement and the People's Action involvement in the Live Free Coalition. A coalition is a conglomerate of different organizations all coming together for one mission. And what our mission is to have a safer Detroit. Ultimately, we want to have a safer Detroit. The coalition is led by Force Detroit. Thus far, we have been in it for a year, or almost a year. And I can say it has been a great experience. What coalition is consist of is also training. We've learned the training, fundraising. We've exchanged information, resources, and we've also did collective researching. The most recent research that we've done with the survey study that was done in 2018 is to get statistics on how people feel in Detroit as far as the safe, the crime. It had different variety of statistics based upon that, and it was presented in last year, and that was something that was good because we all worked together to make sure that it was the presentation was good and that the information was on point. Also, we have sat down with different organizations. We have had dinner tables discussing about bringing other people to the table to do collaboratives on other initiatives based upon surrounded around what our mission is. The coalition is essential because here's the thing. One of our principles, and I didn't say this earlier, but it's on my logo, but one of our principles is unity is power. The other one is discipline, is execution, and then also organize and mobilize. These are steps and things that we feel are imperative to do in order to actually execute what we're trying to do. Power is in unity, okay? And unity is in power. In order to have power, we need unity. Money is just it's an illusion, it's a non-commodity, and it's something that can be taken away from us. The government is the legal tender. If we have unity, we can achieve anything that we set our minds to because now we have more numbers, we have more minds, and also we don't become each other's enemy. If we're not unified, we can potentially become adversaries. But if we are unified, then there's no way we can potentially become adversaries because we're already working together. So if we cannot unify collectively, then essentially we'll be meeting our demise whenever that destination comes. And that's why the coalition is so profound, and it's a representation for so many things in terms of on a macrocosmic level. We have to unify, we have to come together. Thus far, we've done surveys, we've done researches, we've met with different activists, we've done dinner tables, and we're doing so much more. These past months, we have been just doing a lot of strategic planning, structuring the actual coalition, because keep in mind, when you're having a coalition, you have different people you have different leaders at the table. And when you're dealing with different leaders, you are dealing with a certain level, of egos. So all of that has to be neutralized, all of that has to be structured and maintained, and that's what we've been working on so diligently, is how can we all work together, concert each other efforts, and do it in a proper way where it's conducive for everyone. So I want to expand on when I said a safer Detroit, because sometimes when you think about safer Detroit, on the media level, they speak about safer Detroit, more security, more green lights, more criminals being locked up, put in prison. We try to take a different approach. We try to take an alternative approach, which is not necessarily locking people up, not necessarily executing people, or providing additional technology to monitor people. We're speaking of in terms of actually building people up, right? We're talking about criminal justice reform, giving people second chances, providing resources, figuring out ways to engage the community and change it internally in a cultural way where we can prevent crime before it even happens. Too many times when we're thinking about a safer Detroit, we're talking about, post-crime. We're talking about after the crime occurs and then we have punishment. No, we're not trying to be punitive. What we're trying to do is figure out innovative ways to help prevent the crime before it even occurs. And that can happen if we have, violence disruption, if we engage, if we have, resources, job in the community, if we're making sure that, lawmakers and we're making sure that the police are engaging more in the community and not necessarily being looked at as a threat, but more so as a guardian, a person who is caring and loving. We have to change the culture and the dynamics of that. So that's what we're doing. That's why we're looking at the crime, and we're trying to figure out how does it affect it socially, and what things are causing more crimes. And, if this neighborhood is fatherless or motherless or jobless, and ironically it has higher level of crime, is that a significant correlation? What are the variables? What are the lurking variables? These are all intelligent questions that we have to ask and find out the significant correlations. But one thing we do know is having more police, locking up more people, has never been the solution, and it's not the solution, because when you take one drug dealer off the streets, if you don't get rid of the root problem, then another drug dealer is going to be there the next day, right? So what we have to do is change those kind of things. We have to change those terms, and that's the approach that we're taking.